Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, this is it!
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I'm Andy Hotbody Dawson. Pow, pow, pow.
I am Sam Nifty Delaney, so what?
Welcome along. It's a Friday morning episode, and you, Sam, are in a different location. You are not in the Vita Modular.
No.
Tell the boys and girls where you are.
I am in a place called Guernsey, which is one of the Channel Islands off the south coast between the south of England and between Hampshire and France.
To someone like me in the northeast, that seems fantastical.
Yeah,
that seems
mad, isn't it?
like Narnia or something like that.
Yeah,
a mystical kingdom.
Yeah,
but you are there.
It felt a bit like that to me when I landed. I mean, we're talking about the land of the likes of Matt Letizia and Graham Lasso. Englishmen with the word "le" in their names. I mean, bizarre. What kind of fucking mad place is this? I genuinely felt a bit like, obviously, it's an obvious thing to say, but on the night I landed, it did feel a bit like, okay, I'm Edward Woodward in The Wicker Man. Because it's a, you know, like, it was darkness, dusk had fallen, and I was picked up by a nice man, but he was taciturn, he was quiet, and he wasn't a talker, and obviously I am. So I tried to give him the old adorable Delaney cheeky charm, but he wasn't buying it.
Your affable Cockney friend is in town.
Yeah, I came out.
Tell me what's what. Tell me it.
I came out, chucked him an apple. I had 2 apples ready, obviously.
Did you throw it up and bounce it off your bicep towards him?
Yeah, I bounced off my bicep, threw it to him, and then I conjured another one. Did a little bit of a sort of a bit to juggling bit, and then I took a bite out of it, and I thought usually that works for me as an icebreaker. But but no, he wasn't. I mean, he didn't. I wouldn't say he was hostile to it, but it didn't warm me up. And so then we drove quietly through the country lanes, and at dusk it was very quiet, and it was a bit like going back in time. As I understand it, and I haven't seen a huge amount of the island for reasons I'll explain, but basically there's the capital where I'm staying, which is called St. Peter Port, which has a range of good shops and services, right? I mean...
A range? What kind of range?
It's got a Boots, but it hasn't got a super drug.
Yeah.
It hasn't got a super drug. It's got a Mountain Warehouse and a Millets.
Nice.
It's got, it's got, what other chains has it got? It's got enough. I think it's got a Smith's. It's got a Costa Coffee. It's got loads of coffee shops. There's a lot of wealth here because it's, the financial services are its big economy driver, right?
Oh, right.
And
yes,
I found out that you pay 0 corporation tax. So if our new company Uncle Harrington Enterprises,
of course, yeah.
I mean, I've been in, basically it's been pissing it down all week, so I've more or less been it's been raining so hard that on more than one occasion I walked down to the front of the hotel in my rain jacket that I'd brought with me, right? Yeah. And like literally stepped out the door and just turned around again. And that's happened to me twice, where like the hotel staff are sort of laughing.
Like
thinking,
a dog that refuses to go in
exactly.
the garden.
They're like, here he goes. He's going to make another go. Go on then, mate. Have a nice time. And they've just sort of smirked, seen me walk out and then just turn straight around and come back in. So I haven't seen as much of the islands as I would have liked. So I've done a lot of chatting to people. And one of the first things I found out was if we were to set up Uncle Harrington Enterprises here, right, all you have to do is come here for your board meeting. So me and you would have to fly out here, right? It's
I was going to say, can you set it up now while you're there?
It's a half-hour flight. We'd come out here twice a year for our board meetings, right?
That sounds like a fucking bonus.
Right, exactly. It's a lovely place. And I haven't even told some of the attractions yet, which the rain has prevented me from seeing thus far. But they're going to blow your mind. So we'd go to some attractions together. Right, and let me tell you,
of course, which we would do anyway.
They're pretty sensational attractions, and you'd pay 0% corporation tax. And if you live here, I think there's a flat rate 20% tax. So it's a bit of a Tory island, I think. Right,
Jesus,
that's the only bad thing about it.
Get in there and disrupt it.
Yeah, we could disrupt
some socialist ideas.
Yeah, but so obviously we won't be doing that because we believe in paying our corporation tax.
Ripping off the tax.
Yeah, exactly. We believe in paying our corporation tax, but it does make you think.
Up to a point.
Yeah, yeah, within the rules.
We're not married to the idea.
Within the boundaries set by the government. It's not actually like they didn't get a vote in Brexit. They're their own sort of sovereign principality,
right,
but they have some sort of special relationship with the UK that I'm still not quite clear on. But anyway, and no, Bergerac was from Jersey, its neighbouring island, and but I'm not sure about Letitia and Lasso. I think they might have been from here, but we better check that out. But I think
that rings a bell. Yeah,
I'm sort of wondering whether or not. I'm trying to work out whether Bergerac, that ran for a lot of series, and you've got to think that at some point, because it's such a confined space to set every single fucking mystery that Bergerac was involved in, right? At some point, he'd have had to have fucking done an episode in Guernsey, right?
I would imagine so, yeah. I wouldn't say for certain, but yeah.
But I mean, either way, I've been fucking walking around humming the awesome theme tune to Bergerac to myself all week, which might have annoyed some people because the Jersey Guernsey thing, it might be a bit of a Millwall West Ham or Sunderland Newcastle situation.
It could be seen as an act of aggression.
Exactly, and Jersey's, I assume that the Bergerac theme tune is Jersey's sort of de facto national anthem.
Yeah.
Bow,
Yeah.
bow, bow.
I never got, watching Bergerac when I was a kid, I never got much further than the theme tune. I was never massively into the show.
We talked about this in one of our earliest episodes because I remember, I think it was on one of the early episodes of Top Flight. He had this he had a handler or a master, as my son would have called him back then.
Was it Charlie?
Charlie. And Charlie was the prototype Brexiteer. Right.
Yeah.
He was living in tax exile. Yeah. He always wore a cravat and one of those blazers that has sort of brass buttons. He always had like a gin and tonic on the go.
Was it Charlie Hungerford, was he called?
This is a bloke who said he never got past the titles and yet still knows the name of the full name of one of the side characters.
Well, was he 2 characters in it, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's true.
And as I said, that's a memorable surname because, of course, we grew up during the Hungerford shootings. Yeah.
And you know that John Major's constituency was Hungerford as well, which you thought would have worked against him from an electoral point of view. I'm pretty sure it was, yeah. The MP for Hungerford. You would have thought, oh, that's not very electable, is it?
No. Yeah, I'm looking at him now. Terence Alexander, he was called. And he appeared also in the West End in comedies and farces, including these are just perfect names for West End farces and sex comedies, which were like big
I love
in the
those,
70s. Yeah. He appeared in Move Over, Mrs. Markham. 2 and 2 Make Sex.
Yes.
There Goes the Bride. Whoops. And Fringe Benefits.
Oh, fucking hell, they sound great. I wish there was still more sex comedies. They made some films of them as well. And what was the one?
Yeah.
No, the famous one was No Sex Please We're British, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the one that ran and ran and ran. But there's that great Twitter account called Saucy 70s Adventures.
Oh, that is one of my favourites.
They put out a tweet this morning, which is the actor, I think Ian Hendry, and he's playing snooker. And he's there's 2 women. One of them seems to be his assistant or something, and another one is bringing him food and drink. And he keeps seeing them topless, but they're not topless. But he keeps seeing them as that. He's undressed them with
he's
his
imagining
eyes,
it, right?
And it flashes between them being clothed and unclothed, and it's ludicrous. But also a bit saucy.
Yeah, so
if
you don't already follow it, listeners, get on it, because apart from anything else, they're an absolute goldmine of Rod Hull and Emu content.
Yeah, it's a potential goldmine for this podcast, really.
The other day, someone. Well, I often get, if I haven't seen it already, other people who know that's up our street will quickly CC us in. And they recently did, I think it was like just a couple of days ago, it was, they'd posted Rod Hull and Emu's trip to the dentist. And I'm here trying to focus on my work here, Andy. But that's the sort of shit that could derode me, but seriously, big time. I had to rewatch that several times. Yeah.
There's just another one they've just done 3 hours ago as well. Great Blue Peter moments. The time they did a thing about corsets, and there's Maggie Philbin emerging from behind a set of blue velvet curtains, wearing a corset and stockings and suspenders on Blue Peter.
Maggie Philbin wasn't a Blue Peter host. Did she come on just as a guest to dress sexily?
No, she wasn't. What? Maybe she volunteered to do this. I don't know.
And here to dress sexily, who better than television's Maggie Philbin?
Whoa! Blimey! And who else is that? Is that Isla Sinclair from the Generation Game? I believe it is.
Fucking hell, mate.
Fucking hell.
This is, it's actually a dangerous Twitter account.
It says Simon Groom has eyes on stalks at the end of the clip. It says. Jesus Christ.
It could even make a man as godly as Simon Groom fucking lose his fucking cool.
Turn towards the devil.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So there's a big feel of that sort of vibe around here in Guernsey.
Cosmos. As we're talking, 12 seconds ago, Saucy 70s has just posted another Great Blue Peter moment. Leslie Judd enjoys a ride on an electric horse.
No.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
Now, what have we talked about regarding Leslie Judd and horses on this podcast before?
Well, that was supposed to be a T-shirt. I've lost Leslie Judd. I've lost Leslie Judd. Is one of our many in the backlog of T-shirt ideas.
On a horse, but this is just an electric.
But this is an electric horse. I'm pretty sure the horse that she was on when my dad lost her was I think they're called human horses, aren't they? The ones that are actually alive.
Yeah, and of course, because she's riding this electric horse, there's an element of innuendo about it. There's an element of filth, which wasn't there in the original show. But these people on Saucy 70s.
All right, let me tell you, those BBC producers knew what they were fucking doing. With all of those hosts over the years.
Of course they did.
They knew what they were up to.
Something for the dads, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it was. Although if a dad was home at that time of day in those days, it meant that he was probably on the dole.
Unemployed.
And therefore, God knows he needed cheering up.
Yeah. Medically unable to work, probably. But that they've literally just posted that as we are talking right now, which is astounding. Where were we? What's the airport like at Guernsey? I imagine quite sparse, basic. Yeah,
pretty tiny. Apparently, this is another thing that makes it a bit Wicker Man. It's very hard to get on and off the island. One of the things that the man who I couldn't charm said to me, he went, the man who I couldn't charm. That will be a chapter in my book. He goes, he said, yeah, like a lot of flights, I didn't know whether you were going to get here or not. He said, because a lot of flights, it's very touch and go this time of year. It's very difficult for the flights to get in and out because the island of Guernsey, it's enveloped in mist. And he went, the silly buggers built the bloody airport on the highest point of the island. Right. So it's like, it's hard to get in and out of this place, Anyway, do you want to hear what some of the shit they got on this island is, right? Obviously, it was occupied by the Nazis, right, during the war.
Of course, yeah. So
this hotel that I'm in was like a fucking Nazi headquarters. The first thing the Nazis did was they just marched on the island and was like, right, got in here, good to fucking stay, right? And they just looked around. And they found this fucking hotel. Yeah, right, we're having that. Everyone here, fuck off. I mean, there must have been people here on holiday. And they were like, but hang on a minute. We've paid for 3 days fucking bed and breakfast. Yeah, well, not anymore.
That was the old regime.
Who are you anyway? Who are we? We're the fucking Nazis, mate. You might have heard of us.
Check out the fucking badge on the sleeve.
Don't you recognise this? Don't you read the fucking papers?
What are you doing going all day anyway? Fucking hell.
It's a fucking moron. And I go, we know there's a war, and that's why we fucking came here. We thought it'd be safe. Our house was getting bombed in London. Yeah, well, we get everywhere. That's the thing about us Nazis.
Land, sea, and air. That's us.
Fuck off. There's probably a campsite or something round the corner. We're having the best room. I'm the fucking boss one.
This is our HQ now. Get fucked.
Yeah, and so what you can see here is what I'm hoping to go to over the weekend is, if the weather clears up, is I'm going to the Nazi Occupation Museum to find out more details about what they were up to while they were here.
Insanely interesting.
Yeah, but even the thing that I was most excited about all week, right? But I've found out it's fucking shut because we're out of season. Season is like April to October, right? Holiday season.
Yeah.
The fucking Nazis only built a secret underground Nazi hospital, right?
Really?
That they fucking fully kitted out, so it would be. I think they built it underground so like it couldn't be bombed, and they got slaves. I don't know where they got the slaves from. Maybe it was those holiday makers we were just talking about.
Yeah, you're ours now.
They fucking rolled in, took over the hotel and everything else, and then they go, right, first things first, build a fucking hospital and make sure it can't be seen by the fucking those cunts over in Britain in case they try and bomb it. And there's it's still there, mate. They built it underneath a fucking cliff, right? And it's a fucking Nazi hospital built inside a cliff under the ground, so you can't fucking see it, but you can get in there, and all the fucking Nazi medical equipment's still in there, mate.
I can't believe you've said to me at the beginning of this bit, if I can find the time. Is that what you said?
No, but the thing is, right, it was, the first thing I read about was, right, Nazi hospital. That's fucking top of my list of things to do.
Yeah.
And then it pissed it down every day, and I was sort of thinking, I'll wait till the weekend before I do any excursions, yeah? Mm-hmm. And so then the other day, I said obviously I've got to know everyone in this fucking hotel now. They're really nice, and I've gone, right, I'm off up the Nazi hospital at the weekend. I said, I don't care, even if it's pissing it down, I can't leave without seeing Nazi hospital.
No,
and they
exactly,
said,
yeah.
And they were like, no, mate, it's shut. You're out of season. Doesn't open again till April.
No.
Yeah. I said, there's got to be a way I can get in there. They said, no, you won't be able to.
Play the journalist card.
How much security they're going to put on the Nazi hospital out of season on a quiet island like this?
None.
I'll
Make
just
it your
fucking
mission to get in there.
I'll fucking climb in. I fucking climbed into the Colosseum in Rome once in the middle of the fucking night. No one stopped me doing that.
You climbed into untold countless numbers of fucking properties in London when you
homes.
were the nifty boy.
Aristocratic homes where I took jewels, diamond necklaces, the lot. They can't stop Nifty. They cannot stop Nifty.
Nifty cannot be contained.
No.
Good.
I'll be trying to check that out. And there's various other things. And there's little dotted islands, like tiny little islands that have no cars at all. Like they have one pub and just beaches that are like near, like 20-minute boat rides away and stuff like that.
Oh, this sounds great.
Yeah, it'd be a good. I mean, I might come back in the summer. It's cheap. And it's only half an hour from Gatwick when you're on the plane. I went on a little propeller plane, mate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hell.
Yeah.
How many seats on the plane?
It was quite big. It was like, not big, but bigger than, it wasn't like, 6 people. There was about, I don't know, there was about 50 of us on this plane.
Like one of those that we saw when we were at Glasgow Airport that time before.
Yeah, that we wanted to go up to the islands and highlands on.
Excuse me, can we go on that one instead?
Yeah, we nearly ditched fucked off the rest of the tour we had booked. He said, fuck this, let's go to the Isle of Skye.
London show cancelled due to unforeseen circumstances. We will be doing a episode from the Orkneys instead.
Yeah, man, I went on a prop plane, landed in the mist. Brilliant. And it's a good laugh here, man. But I think I will come back. Oh, and here's another weird thing, right? So first day, when it wasn't too rainy, I went for a little mooch about the town, yeah? And I'm mooching about, and I walked past this sort of like kind of photography / art gallery little place, right? I look in the window, and there is a giant fucking exhibition, right? Not giant, I mean, it's a small place, but in the middle of this sleepy town in Guernsey, right, of the work of our friend and your fellow Mackham, Tony Briggs, right?
What?
Promoting the book that you and I star in, right?
Cosmos.
Briggsy, and the whole thing in the window, it just says Briggsy, and I thought, oh, I know a bloke called Briggsy, can't be him. Fucking is. All those photos, his photos of Kate Moss and Ocean Colour Scene and all of these other sort of icons. Us, yeah. Well, we weren't in it, so obviously I've walked straight into this place, right? And it's just the 2 proprietors in there and no one else. So I go, all right. And I go, how do you know Briggsy then? And they go, what? And I go, he's my mate. you got his book lying around, and they said, no, we just sold the last one, but they've got all these prints of his up for sale. I said, ain't you got any of me and my mate? And they go, what? And then I had to get the photo, because I thought they were just, well, it was clear that they just thought, who is this fucking lunatic?
Did you do that thing of turning to the side to show your profile?
I got I got my phone out and spent ages going through my Instagram to find the pictures I'd taken of our bits in the book to prove to them that I wasn't a loon who just stumbled out of the rain into their gallery and started fucking claiming that I was in the book. I know it really well. Look, there are pictures of me. That's my mate Andy. Look, there's us. We're in the book as well. You should go and get it. So yeah, I made some friends with them. They were nice people. But obviously, yeah, understandably, they thought I was weird. I didn't have any apples on me either, so that was a hindrance.
Yeah, you used all your apples up.
I used my apples.
All of your
There's an M&S here, mate. There's a massive M&S. It's the sort of M&S that not only does the food and the clothes, but even furniture.
Fucking hell.
So that's pretty good.
We're getting one of them up here in Washington. They're building one at the minute.
Washington, really?
M&S Superstore, yeah. Come up and visit when it's done.
I've been to the M&S in central Sunderland, and I actually bought myself a jumper there. And
they're closing that one.
They're closing it.
They're closing that one.
That's a big one.
It is. Well, we're getting a bigger one out of town.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Game changer.
But it's a bit of a shame that they're closing the central.
It is.
Sunderland
It's a lovely
one,
building. Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
oh well, you can't go back, can you?
You can't go back.
No. So that's basically Guernsey. Other than that, I've just been indoors, and yeah, it's been raining all the time, and I've just been like watching a lot of telly. Last night I watched a brilliant Swedish terrorism drama called the terrorists aren't Swedish. The terrorists are Islamists. Right.
Yeah.
But the place they're trying to bomb is Sweden. Right. And it's called Caliphate, and so it's set between Sweden and the Caliphate. Right.
Yeah.
So that I can recommend that. I think it's a few years old. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. And it's really exciting. It's about a lot of it's about radicalisation, and how in Western countries there's like a sort of a covert radicalisation thing, and like we read a lot of stories around the time, and I guess it's still going on, of like kind of in our case British, very often young women who are lured over to the Caliphate. I don't know if you remember, but they also they started issuing like kind of tourism videos and brochures about how awesome it was and what food you could get there and stuff like that. And I thought that was
young girl who got lured over there and then was made stateless by us, Samina Begum, I think it is.
Yeah,
she's just had her appeal rejected this morning to come back to Britain.
What? So she's still out there?
She's stuck out there now. Yeah,
that's yeah. I mean, this show is really. I mean, it's a good show. It's like exciting. I'm not going to try and make it sound boring. Like it's educational. It's first and foremost really exciting, like a spy drama. Yeah. But it also fucking gives you insight to the radicalisation process and the hoodwinkery that gets these young people over there, and then and to think that once they're tricked over there, that you just basically go, no, you can't come back now, right? It's like, I mean, I see in a way the theory of it, right? Because it might put other people off going there, but it's like they don't fucking know till they get there.
Maybe it's a little bit like Guernsey. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Lure people across with a 0% corporation tax, and then once you're there, you don't know, do you?
Jalapeño.
Here's a brief but annoying message to let you know that you wouldn't be hearing this brief but annoying message if you were a subscriber to our Iron Filing Society Patreon offering.
For the price of a pint and a St Clement's each month, you can get up to 4 episodes a week, 9 months before the rest of the world gets them. Early access to regular episodes, lots of other marvellous benefits, and there's absolutely no adverts or brief but annoying messages like this that'll get right on your tits.
Find out more and subscribe now at tftimemachine.com/ironfilings.
Jalapeño. Jalapeño.
I've got a mate who has a hotel here, and he's let me use it to finish my book. Right. But he's not a Guernseyite himself. But how do I know that I haven't been radicalised without noticing it?
Are there any other residents in the hotel, or is this a bit Jack Nicholson in The Shining?
It's a bit
thing.
like that. I mean, there are people down. If I go down to like for breakfast or lunch in the restaurant area, there are people there, but they're mainly kind of people having like business lunches because it's all like finance people. There is a huge amount
of people who are nipping over there for their annual board meeting
or
sort
they
of
live
thing.
here because also your personal. Some people have just thought, "Fuck this, I'll live here," and your personal tax is so low as well, and they're doing all their financial services like jiggery pokery from here, and they come down to this hotel to have their business meetings. And I got to tell you, most of the time I keep my headphones in, listening to the jazz music, right? Because there is
Guernsey
a lot of
Jazz. There's your episode title.
There's a huge amount of basically what I've been thinking about a lot is train guy. There is a huge amount of train guy. I kept thinking of Jeff Linton. Right, I've heard a huge amount of those kind of conversations here. Whenever I've like paused my music, I've heard people effectively just talking about the Lintonator, which is sort of amusing to begin with, but then just becomes like, oh no, this is awful. I'm stuck on Tory Island.
Yeah,
they're going to try and make me a Tory.
And there's a Nazi hospital as well. It all adds
That's when they're going to start doing experiments.
You've got to be very careful trying to get at that hospital. They might experiment on you.
They're going to do an experiment on my fucking brain to turn it Tory.
Tory blood into you or something.
Yeah.
Shit.
No, there's a bit. I think it's in your frontal lobe, isn't it? They can they can do because that's where the Tory. There's a lot. They say that 30% of your unused brain is Tory.
It's Tory, yeah.
And a lot of the Nazis and the modern Tories, like your Suella Bravermans, your sort of radical Tories, have worked on the science. They've kidnapped a lot of scientists and made them work in their lair to sort of work on the science to unlock. It's a bit like, I guess it's like Oppenheimer, right? The Nazis.
Don't know about that. I haven't watched that.
Well, I haven't watched it either.
All
but
right.
one day.
But you think you know about it?
I think. Well, I watched the BAFTAs the other night. That's how bored I was.
Enough.
I never watch award shows, but I got here on Sunday night and I felt a bit lonely, to be honest. So I switched on the box and the BAFTAs was on, so I watched that.
I was going to watch it because The Old Oak was nominated for Best British Picture, but then I saw it was delayed coverage, so I saw the result before it had even been on the telly and it hadn't won. I said, we hadn't won.
Didn't you throw a 3/4 full can of lager at the TV screen when it didn't win and cracked your own TV screen?
I had fucking friends and family around. We were having like a BAFTA party. There was 50 of us here.
So you smashed your own TV screen and then you threw everyone out and shouted at your own parents.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. I can't believe it because I don't really believe in award ceremonies usually, but I just got to
I know, but it gets you, doesn't
it all.
It does get you.
Fucking
yeah. No, I felt bad for you, mate. I went down to the bar here and swore at a few Tories. Because I was like, of course it didn't fucking win, because it told the true story of working people, and you don't fucking want that, do you? And they just looked at me blankly.
Yeah, you went back to your room, listen to your jazz.
Listen, I'll go back to my room to listen to my jazz. That'll stop my brain turning Tory.
But here's a life logistics question I'm going to put to you, right? Hypothetically, if you've got someone who you get along with, a pal, you could say, someone you interact with on social media quite regularly, and some personal tragedy befalls that person, e.g. the death of their spouse.
Oh God,
They do a crowdfunder to help them get through what is obviously an incredibly traumatic time, loss of earnings, all that kind of thing. And you donate to it because you think they're a good person and you get along with them. Yeah. And then 3-4 years later, you discover that they've blocked you on social media. Yeah. And you've no idea why. You just all of a sudden you realise that you haven't seen them on Twitter, let's say, for a while, and you look, and it turns out you're blocked. Are you entitled to ask that person for a refund on the donation that you made 3-4 years ago?
No, I mean, who knows?
So?
People block for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes they're just like, fuck this, I need to just stay out of certain. So they might think, right, I'm going to stay on you might think, for instance, I'm going to stay on Twitter, but only to follow like stuff about my football team, right?
It was 50 quid.
Yeah, I don't know. But then you're saying, I think you say like worst case scenario, they've blocked you because they've objected to some of the opinions you've expressed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That could be it. And then you're saying, I only donate that 50 quid because I thought you unilaterally agreed with my point of view on everything. And now I find out that you didn't. I feel cheated.
But then again, to then go to them and say, can I have my money back, kind of doubles down on the fact that they no longer regard you as someone to follow. So it's shit or bust, isn't it? They either give you the money back.
They're just like, I appreciate your money, but I no longer wanted to be exposed to your thoughts
opinions.
Or opinions.
My opinions haven't changed over the years, so his must
No, but
have.
they're in a different place.
Fucking hell. Right, I mean, I thought I'd ask you, seeing as you're.
It's worse than that, mate. I mean, what do you do? We've talked about this before. What do you do when you've got a real life mate who suddenly, when they've got a few beers inside of them, start saying things that you deem to be a bit misogynist or Tory, right? And you sort of think, oh no, this is. Yeah, or maybe you always were, and it's just with a few drinks inside you. But then you think, oh, maybe when I used to drink, we'd have conversations like this, and I just took it more in the spirit of we're all drunk and being silly, right? And
ironic.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, like I've got a couple of mates. Last year I went out for dinner with a couple of old mates, and the conversation, like they were all drinking, I wasn't, and the conversation got really, and everyone's married and has kids. But the conversation became, and look, obviously we come across, to anyone fucking young and civilised who listens to this show, I'm sure we come across as a couple of unreconstructed fucking dinosaurs obsessed with 70s and 80s TV presenters on horses. I get that, right? So I'm throwing stones in a glass house here. But some of the fucking stuff people say about birds and all the rest of it, and you think, I think this crosses a line a bit, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't, then you get caught between, I don't want to be that fucking dick who goes, hey guys, I know this is all a bit of fun, but actually I think you'll find not all women are, as you put it, gagging for it. Right? And then you think, oh God, I don't know, is this a friendship I can continue with, or is it just like such a rare occurrence that I can sort of forget about it? It's hard. It's hard. When you disagree with friends, do you have friends? Do you have friends? A friend doesn't have to be someone who you align with completely on everything, do they? I don't know. But yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, you have to say something about. Also, there's a time and a place, isn't there? Because if say everyone's drunk and you're not, and everyone's having a laugh, and then you suddenly pipe up. And
you turn into the sexism
I don't think
teacher.
In a situation like that, anyone's going to necessarily listen to you or come round to your way of thinking, or they're just going to think you're being an annoying cunt. Shut up, and it won't get you anywhere. It'll just lead to more conflict. So maybe there's a time and a place, I guess.
Especially given that you're not drinking as well, you're then seen as the sexism cop.
Exactly. I don't want to be that guy. Yeah. And they go, oh, man, that's why we don't invite you out. So can't relax with you saying stuff like this. But all I'm saying is there is a line, I think, sometimes with things. And, there was a little bit. And sometimes you hear people giving it a bit sort of, well, if I don't like it here, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we got to call that shit out. Definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's horrible. But people are horrible. But also people are just
horrible.
People are stupid. There's a lot of stupidity. And there's also a lot of just laziness, I think, because having points of view that are just like negative and don't bother to engage with other people's sort of experience in any like nuanced way or detailed way, it's usually, it's sort of, you could call it ignorance, but it's also just fucking plain lazy. It's like so much simpler to just hate on someone and judge them than it is to fucking spend a bit of time trying to get your head round what their experience of this situation is.
True.
So I mean, I know this is all fucking boring. It was better when I was talking about Nazi hospitals. You can tell I've been on my fucking own all week. I've just been fucking walking around a fucking hotel room thinking all sorts of fucking daft thoughts.
Been recording podcasts with yourself. No, but
in the mirror.
That just reminded me talking about. I mean, I went to the darts in Newcastle last night, the Premier League darts, and I did see some people that I would describe as lazy and ignorant, and also quite drunk.
Yeah.
But that's you can't pick and choose who you're with in a 12,000-seater arena.
No.
But darts aside, it was a brilliant night. Some really great matches. Brilliant night.
Yeah.
Took my best mate and his son, who'd never been before, and they are now just completely hooked.
Oh,
which
brilliant.
is great. So
that's a good feeling.
More converts to the darts course. But we came out and I drove because it's so much easier to drive and not have a drink and everything, because I can park just outside the venue. And as we were pulling away from the car park, obviously thousands of people, shit-faced, fancy dressed, the lot, was spilling into the road. Some bloke tried to climb on my car bonnet. It was just horrendous, but also quite fun. Yeah. And I saw one of the greatest things I've ever seen. And it was just in the middle of the road. There were 6 fellas dressed as Spider-Man. And I don't know whether they'd all gone together or whether they just encountered each other as they were coming out. But you know the Spider-Man meme where there's 2 Spider-Men pointing at each other? 6 of them stood in a circle, all pointing at each other.
Oh, wonderful.
As the crowd went, "Way!"
Wonderful.
It was incredible.
A meme came to life.
A meme came to life. It was superb. But anyway, let's predict. Let's predict.
Oh, by the way, just real quick, I know we didn't have time to talk about the sad dismissal of yet another Sunderland manager this week, and all of the funny social media stuff that followed. But just as we were waiting to record, I was thinking about that, and then I saw an article on the BBC Sports website called "Klopp's Successor: The Data's Surprise Number One." I'll be really quick, but it's just so like the way that this sort of data nonsense, the way that football has moved on. Way beyond the fucking comprehension of old cunts like me and you, right? Yeah. So-called legacy fans is now just at a stage where it's like, I don't understand what football is. They've done this really long article on the BBC website, right, with this fucking spreadsheet with incomprehensible fucking data about 10 different managers, right, who could replace Jurgen Klopp, right? And I thought, what is it? This is like an article about who... Okay, an article about who might be the next Liverpool manager. That makes sense to me. That's a legitimate subject matter on a football website. And it goes, how have we worked it out? The metrics defined, right? And they've done it in all these categories, right? Metrics, all these words, right? Objective achievement rating, right? I won't bore you with what that means, but underneath there's a paragraph explaining what that means. Overall rating, brackets, weighted metrics. Strategic intelligence rating. Tactical command rating, attacking coefficient / success adjusted attacking coefficient, right? Yeah. Team shot conversion rating / opposition shot conversion rating, shot creation
goals
ratio,
for and against then.
And possession. And each of these subjects next to all these managers, half of whom you haven't heard of, right, have got all these 3.76, 20.49, right? And all this data is put into a spreadsheet. And if you carry on reading this really long article, at the end it tells you who should be the next Liverpool manager, right?
Fucking hell.
And how do they find...
captured, right? Football has been captured by 2
virgins.
groups of people. or the same people who've got the 2 skill sets. One, they think they're data analysts. And 2,
why do you want to... When I was a kid, we all wanted to be fucking spacemen, not data analysts.
Data analysts. And 2, they all think they're accountants.
Yeah. Why are those the things that people want to be now? I blame COVID. In COVID, every single night they had a couple of fucking weird scientists got up on the telly and started talking you through loads of graphs and charts and data. And like me, I just never watched it. I thought it was fucking boring. I thought, what difference does this make to me? Yeah, I'm going to go on that Saucy 70s adventure. That's much better. The other day, they had a missus, and she had a woman, a housewife, in the bath, topless. And she was hiding from her husband because she had her boyfriend hiding in the wardrobe. That's much better.
Yeah, there was a divergence, wasn't there? Yeah.
And I just sort of think, at that point, people got really into this shit. Data, let's crunch the data. And it's man. That's how, Sunderland, from what I can tell from listening to you, they've had a succession of fucking managers, right, who your child prince fucking club owner, but who he's 27. That's why. And these are the kids who were so fucking enraptured by this data and analysis shit.
Well, could
They
be,
got all these
yeah.
fucking snake oil salesmen who turn up at Sunderland and go, look at my spreadsheet. And this kid goes, yeah, we'll fucking have you.
That's exactly
great.
what's happened with this last cunt. Yeah.
Yeah,
With
and then
Michael
10 games
Beale.
in, it's like, yeah, but he can't manage a football team. And
Yeah.
he's a weirdo who has no interpersonal... I'm not being funny, but I look at someone like fucking Harry Redknapp, right, who got Tottenham to, like, the fucking Champions League semi-finals and had all sorts of other success on the basis of he was just, like, good bloke, kind of made them all feel good about themselves, generated a bit of an atmosphere.
He knows where to put an arm around you. Simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't believe this. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah,
weird,
football.
right?
Captured by
Attacking
virgins.
coefficient / success adjusted attacking coefficient, a measure of the manager's propensity to play an attacking style of football and the relative impact of the manager's attacking coefficient on the success of the team.
No idea.
Fuck off.
No idea. Okay. Anyway, let's show how much we know about football by doing some predictions. Here we go. Bournemouth versus Manchester City.
Oh, I would say that will be Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1.
Wow. I will go Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 3. Then we got Brighton versus Everton. I think Brighton will win that 2-0.
I think I'm going to go the same as you. That's 2-0 Brighton.
All right. Monday Night Football. Remember when that used to be a thing? No one gives a fuck about it anymore, do they? Monday Night
It used to
Football.
be, because there's football fucking every day. It's not like, hey, remember, I used to call up, mate, or I didn't have Sky when it first started, so I'd like my brother had Sky or something. Sometimes when Sky was very rarefied at the beginning, my brother's office in the fucking West End in Soho
Right.
had it, and me and my mate would go up all the way up to fucking Uppsala.
Watch it in the
See a
office.
we'd see a mucky film first, obviously.
Tea time. Yeah.
Yeah, tea time, a matinee mucky, they'd call it. We go and see a matinee mucky, and then we go to my brother's office and get quite pissed watching a game, and 4 or 5 other lads would come as well because it would be a big thing, and it'd only be like Palace versus fucking Everton or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It was like
it's
football.
West Ham Brentford this week, isn't it?
West Ham Brentford, yeah.
In the spirit of my new let's stop predicting West Ham will win everything, because that will. I am going to say that this will be 2-1 to Brentford.
Fucking hell. Well, I think you're due a win. I think it'll be 2-1 West Ham. Sunderland versus Swansea, which is Saturday. We are... Well, I don't know whether I should tell you this. I don't know. I'm going to give you a help. But we are obviously without a manager. We've got a caretaker manager in. And we're without our talisman, Jack Clark, who's out with a foot injury.
Oh,
With
no.
that in mind, I'm going to say 1-0 to Swansea.
Okay, yeah, I'll say... no, you know what? I'm going to say 1-0... No, 2-1 to Sunderland, because sometimes the players
Yeah.
get a bounce. Because obviously,
Yeah.
Professor Ian Beale, was a fucking downer, and so sometimes the players are just buzzing because the
They're
cunt's
liberated.
fucked off. The witch is
Yeah.
dead.
I don't see where we're going to get 2 goals from, but stranger things have happened. And
Who's
finally,
the caretaker manager?
It's Mike Dodds, who's the first team coach.
Dodsey. Yeah.
Doddsy's back. Dodds ball is back.
Yeah.
Arsenal
I
versus
say give it
Newcastle.
Dodsey till end of the season, mate.
Well, we have. Yeah, we
Give
have.
him a chance. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
we're not even trying to get a
Good.
new manager in.
He deserves
Fuck
a
it.
chance.
Arsenal versus Newcastle. What do you think?
I think this will be 3-1 Arsenal.
3-1 to Arsenal. I think it will be... I'll go 3-0 Arsenal. So there we are. That's the predictions. Doddsball is about to return to Sunderland at the weekend. And that's about it. Oh, just seen the sad news that John Savardant, who played Fred Elliott, the butcher in Coronation Street, has died. Who, of course, Fred Elliott was based on Foghorn Leghorn. Because he'd say everything twice. I say everything twice.
Boy, I said, boy.
No, he didn't say it
Fucking
like that.
Foghorn Leghorn is sensational and a potential future deep dive.
Foghorn Leghorn is an astounding character.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
as
something
is
for
Fred Elliott.
Monday. which we'll definitely forget, is I sent you. I found a fascinating article about Telecom Tower in the week, which I don't talk about enough as the best building in London by a mile. And anyone else who says any different is just being a twat, right? It's the fucking. It's a building that looks like a fucking rocket, and it once had a revolving restaurant. A revolving restaurant managed by Billy Butlin.
And they shut it down because of terrorists.
They shut it down because of terrorists, but of course, it's Noel's favourite building. Noel was in and out of Telecom Tower non-fucking stop throughout the 80s, wasn't he?
Yeah.
His idea for everything was either let's do it on Concorde or let's do it in Telecom Tower. Those were his two mad ideas. His ideas for everything were that.
The abiding memory I've got is those guys who had to run up the stairs
all the way up it and
Tower,
down. And Noel
fucking
thinks
passed
it's
out
the
at
funniest thing he's ever seen. He's like laughing his head off. And these people are absolutely nuts.
You loonies.
Yeah. So we might take a closer look at the history of Telecom Tower on Monday if we remember.
I've written it down. We'll have a go. All right, thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of your spell in Guernsey. Good luck with the Nazi hospital. We could be talking about that as well. Thanks for listening. And that's that.
That's that.